Alrighty, good morning, my friends. Happy day one for Sadhana. I'm so excited. This is Elevate, and I want to take just the briefest of moments to explain what the heck we're doing here. So, this is our winter sadhana. We do our sadhanas seasonally. This is our winter sadhana, and winter is often a time that we turn inwards, that we go deep and we do that deep inner work. It's like we're fertilizing and turning the soil in order to provide this really dense, nutrient-rich nest for our seeds to be planted and sprout from. And so when we do that inner work, it's a still process, it's a dark process often. And there was something as I was sitting with this year, partly in thinking of this, but partly in thinking of this transition into winter, there's a greater connection of inner work. So this year it feels like to me when we're doing this inner work, not only are we doing inner work for ourselves, we're doing inner work for our community, for each other. And so when I sat with that for a little bit longer, like, what does that mean? I got curious about it. And I realized that everything we do, actions and reactions, right? And so everything we do is interrelated. And when we do our own work, part of that is realizing how we are connected to others and the environment around us and how that plays out in our own self, but also understanding that what we do can have impacts and effects in the greater. And so when we do this inner work this year, I feel strongly that there's a pull for us to realize how deeply that micro and the macro are connected. And so I came up with that idea of elevate. And so raising that vibration. And so when we think about raising our vibration, what does that mean? That's such a cliche thing, right? Like we're raising the vibration. We are, I talk with my private clients right now of purposeful action, intent, action. And so there is a clarity of direction that comes deep from our heart with the understanding of making our world and our world a better place. Stronger, brighter, supportive, more connected, more whatever that means for you, better. It's a descriptive word that has a lot of different connotations, judgment. And so this sadhana, this kriya that we're going to do in just a hot second is all about connecting the heart and the brain. In Kundalini, you know, we have three brains, right? We believe we have a head brain, a heart brain, and a gut brain. And often we're stuck in our head and we forget about our heart and our gut. We really ignore the gut. Sometimes we listen to the heart, sometimes we don't. And so Kundalini, our job, our duty is to connect and align and open those three brains. And so this sadhana is going to get us back up into our head, but not this head. We're going to get into this head. And we're going to use our heart as the pathway. So there's going to be some weird things like our mantra at the end. We always do a mantra at the end is going to be whistling. And if you can't whistle, that's okay. Humming, we'll talk a little bit about it at the end as well. It's a breath, so it's a breath mantra where we'll inhale, we'll hold, and then we'll whistle on the exhale. Maybe you just blow. You can make some sort of sound, but think about bringing that breath into that soft palate, the roof of the mouth, into the head. That's the whole point of that. There is a bellows breath. There's no breath of fire in here. That's one thing I changed yesterday. There's bellows breath, which is a strong. So we really get into the strength of the lungs and the diaphragm, which channels that energy upwards. And there's familiars. Sufi grind is where we begin. Spinal flex is there. All you need is maybe a block or a pillow to sit on if you choose to do so. We're going to do the hero's pose spinal flex. Everything else, you just need your body. You don't even need a mat. All right, so let's go ahead and settle in. Come to a comfortable seated position. And I'm going to walk you through all of this so you don't have to worry about any of it. I have my timer. We do things in Kundalini, we do things for approximately 2 minutes so we can really feel into this, settle in. So just take a moment. Place your hands on your body. Maybe one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Maybe both hands on the belly, and just feel your breath. Maybe soften your gaze. If it feels safe, you can close your eyes. And just come back to this moment. Pause and feel. And just notice all of the pieces that have already been scattered to the wind on this Monday morning, and bring them all back. And then bring the palms together, rubbing them into each other, feeling that connection that is being created. Press the palms, thumbs, come to the sternum, complete that heart orbit, link the hands to the heart. And we begin, just like we always do, we sing Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. And that just simply means I bow to the holy, to the teacher within. That just enters our practice. Feel free to sing along, listen, make up your own words, whatever feels right. Let's take a breath first. Let's inhale, exhale. Inhale to begin. Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. Release the hands and move into our Sufi grind, which is circles with the upper body. So inhaling as we circle forward. Exhale as we circle back. My floor is squeaky if you can hear it. It wouldn't be sadhana if I didn't have a squeaky floor. And I like to let my hands float, so this really comes into the pelvis. So here we are tapping into that gut brain, our foundation, our root first. And keep going in the same direction. Gently switch directions. So now we're circling the other way. So in Kundalini, we do things for a longer amount of time than in traditional yoga, just because that gives our body time to understand what we're doing and learn it in a different way. And it also gets us out of our head. I'm sure that you've had a moment at some point already where it's like, am I supposed to still be going this direction? What am I supposed to be doing? This is weird. Yep, just keep going. Let that pass and see what's on the other side. Notice where you feel this in the body. On your next inhale, come to center, pause in stillness, hold the breath even. Notice. And then let it go. Welcome to winter sadhana. Notice how you feel. So now we'll move into hero's pose, which is simply sitting on the heels. And if you want to, you can take a block and slide it under your hips. If you don't have a block, you can take a pillow or a cushion, or you can just sit back on your heels. It doesn't matter. Whatever feels most comfortable to you. If this just does not work in your body, Take your legs out in front of you, hold on to your thighs. Okay, that's a great option as well. Hands come to the thighs. Sitting nice and tall. Eyes can close again or gaze can soften, and we move into a spinal flexion. So inhale, rock forward, open the heart, shoulders come back. Exhale, scoop the belly, rock back. Head stays still for the first minute of this. So it's like we're creating a cap of our spine. So our pelvis is still and our head is still. The spine is what's moving. Following the breath. Inhale to open the heart, the front of the heart. Exhale to open the back of the heart. Head stays as stable as possible. And now the head joins in the fun. So exhale, tuck the chin, let the gaze fall into the lap. Inhale, lift the chin, let the gaze lift to the sky. Notice how this changes the motion. For me, this is such an eye-opening experience, literally. My eyes pop open because this makes the movements feel completely different when my head is involved. We always say as yogis that our awareness in our body follows our head, and so notice the shift that happens when you start to move your head with the spine. No judgment, no attachments, just notice. On your next inhale, come to center. Hold the breath in the body. Keep the chin neutral. Lift through the crown of the head and the pelvic floor. And then exhale, release. Take a moment, feel your body. And then come to an easy seated pose. Back into crisscross. For this, I was playing with this yesterday and I really like my hips elevated a little bit. So if you want to keep that block under your hips, that feels really nice. There's something about where we're going that I want more space in my torso. So I offer that to you, not necessary. So this next one is a new one, and we'll start with our arms overhead. Our hands will kind of cross. And as we exhale, we'll pull the elbows down towards the ribs. As we inhale, the hands open and we switch the cross of the wrists. Exhale, pull it back down. So I want us to not only feel the reach, but I want us to really feel the energy of the pull down. And this is where we add the bellows breath. So it's a and feel the strength here. Pick your own tempo. Feel the diaphragm. Really tune into the bellows action of the lungs and the opening with the pull down. Rest when you need to. This is vigorous. Feel the strength as you pull down. It's easy to just start to let those arms fall. Keep that work happening. Over halfway there, let the breath carry you. Make sure the wrists still switch the cross. You're alternating the hand that's in front. Almost there. Inhale, exhale, release the hands. Keep breathing. Feel the fire in your shoulders. Whee! Notice. Good. For this next one, we get to stand up. So go ahead and find your way to stand. Burp. Okay, so this one is another fun one. I like to have my feet a little bit wider than hip distance and my toes out slightly. We're going to kind of continue this same motion that we did before, but not fast. We're going to be slow and we're going to be mindful with this. And instead of crossing the wrists, so our arms are going to be straight now. When we come up, our thumbs are going to connect overhead and we're going to be on our tiptoes. So that's our inhale. As we exhale, our feet come back down and our arms release. So it's the same action, but very slow, okay? So here we go. Inhale, reach up, thumbs connect overhead. Exhale, lower back down. So this is kind of a shift of a sweep of the causal body, because we just supercharge the space around our upper body, our throat, our head, our crown, and now we're kind of spreading it back out, but really anchoring into our feet because we have to be aware of them when we come up on our tiptoes. Slow the breath down. Feel how this spreads the energy back out in our body. Yeah. Bonus points if you can touch your thumbs without looking. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. Rest if you need to. We're almost there. About 30 more seconds. Nicely done. Tiptoes. Good. As you exhale, release the hands and just breathe. Feel the shoulders grow heavy again. Feel the soles of the feet. Good. And then just twist it out. Good. Let's come back to seated, please. Finding that easy seated pose. Support the hips if you'd like. Hands come out beside us, fingertips on the earth. So I want the chin tucked slightly, and we're going to make twists. We'll begin with an inhale to the left, and the fingertips trail along the ground. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, twist to the left. Exhale, twist to the right. I want you to really tune into the palms of the hands and the fingertips. So if you've done sadhanas with me or kundalini with me before, you know that the palms of our hands are directly connected to our heart. So this rubbing the hands on the ground really focuses the energy into our heart, because our heart is leading the way here, right? We want to raise our vibration, but do it from a heart-centered place. This also gives us an opportunity to slow ourselves back down, to lengthen out our breath again, to re-regulate as we come near the end of our practice. And gaze can be on the earth or eyes can be closed. I also like to think about the idea of me drawing a circle on the ground, like I'm creating a circle around myself, this little bubble of safety, of comfort, my nest, kind of the line in the sand type of thing, to let only what I want into my circle, into my bubble. As you inhale, come back to center, fingertips stay on the earth, retain the breath for a moment, lift the pelvic floor, tuck the chin, and then release. Take a moment, notice how you feel. I love the tingliness my fingers get after that. Breathe. All right, so we move into our mantra. And again, I like my hips elevated for this, for whatever reason. This usually doesn't matter to me, but for whatever reason in this one, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get my hips higher. So this is our whistle. Here's what is going to happen. We're going to inhale, hold the breath, and on the exhale, whistle or blow out through the lips. If you don't whistle or you don't like to whistle, hum, but think about sending that humming up into the head. The reason we're doing this is because, again, the theme of this is elevate, right? And so we're activating the crown and the third eye chakras, and the pitch, the frequency, the speed of which the sound spins when you whistle is a higher frequency, which stimulates the third eye and crown chakra. Also, that action stimulates the soft palate, the roof of your mouth, which directly, there's again, like hands go to heart, same thing. There are nerves that run from the soft palate through the brain into the heart. And so when we whistle, we are stimulating the heart, the head, and the heart, and the throat. All right, does that make sense? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our hands to kind of anchor us in our body. One hand comes kind of at our hairline, palm flat on our forehead. The other hand, peace fingers, come to the occiput, that base of our skull, kind of that little space where the spine, there's a little bump, that little groove there. And we're just going to keep them there. And it doesn't matter which hand is where, but feel the connection between those two hands through the head. And so really kind of bring your awareness to there. Soften the gaze or close the eyes. And we'll take a full breath before we begin this cycle of whistles. So let's inhale together. Exhale together. And begin. Inhale. Hold. Whistle on the exhale. And just continue. Inhaling. Hold. Whistle. Keep going. For me, I have found the hard part is keeping my hands soft. The further into this I get, the harder I push. Yeah. And so just kind of back it off. You are calling them, Tiffany. So feel this focus on the head. Feel the opening of the heart and the steadiness of the breath. Almost there. Keep the hands nice and soft. Last one on the whistle. Inhale when you're there. Exhale, release the hands. Take a moment and feel where you are right now. What are you aware of? What does it mean to raise your vibration, to elevate your existence? And then let's bring our hands together. Again, returning to the place we began. Palms rub into each other. And then press them together, thumbs to the sternum, lift the heart. We'll finish with a single Sat Nam. We get to sing once more. Sat Nam, alongside a short Nam. That means I am truth, I am light. Let's inhale to begin. Sat Nam. You are divine light, born of the universe. You are unique and beautiful and loved. We shine for each other. We shine together. Shine bright, sweet souls. Sat Nam.